Sooner Nation, welcome back to Sooner Surge Softball Edition here. Don't forget to click subscribe there on your channel, on your screen. Enable the notifications, like and comment like you've been doing as always. Drop your questions and comments in the chat as well. There's not many questions today. We're talking and highlighting another senior spotlight softball player today, and it's Tiare Jennings. Not many questions to ask about Tiare. She's pretty much performed since she stepped on campus here at OU. Been clutch in so many ways, so many games. So let's open it up, guys. Tiare Jennings, senior next year.
She's one of the leaders. She's always there when we need her. She's always playing good defense. She's incredible. That's all I'll say. She's incredible.
Yep, she has that clutch gene, just like a lot of the OU players do. When you talk about nationally known names in college softball, you can't think of many more than Tiare Jennings. To me, the one girl that maybe you would know in front of her, or there's two, it would be Jada Coleman and Maya Brady. Outside of that, I would say that Tiare Jennings is probably one of the most known in all college softball, and she also is one of the best players overall in college softball.
And I think, Jackson, Sooner fans and national softball fans as well came to really know who Tiare Jennings was, mainly, and not against her, but because of the Jocelyn Allo factor. Jocelyn Allo has walked so many times, and then Tiare Jennings batted right by her, and people started realizing, well, crud, you can't really pitch around Allo because Jennings is just maybe as good, as scary up at the plate. And she's hit so many bombs. Her numbers last year, she didn't hit as many home runs, but if you notice, she wasn't walked, maybe as much as either, because you can't really pitch around anyone in this lineup. But Tiare Jennings, I would say may have the most. You said the clutch gene, Jackson. I'm starting to wonder if the clutch gene is pretty much anyone on the team there in Norman. It's like they developed this.
Yeah, it must be in the water. Tiare Jennings, she's the best two-hole hitter in the country, and it's not even close. You talk about the Allo, how Allo was walked so many times. And even if you do that, like Tiare Jennings was probably going to get a base hit in times when she was in front of Allo. I know other times she was batting behind her at certain times. Then you have two runners on. Like, it's just a pick your poison thing. This year, as of late, it's Jada Coleman, leadoff hitter. She's getting on base more times than not on almost like over 400 on base percentage, probably closer to 500. Then you have Tiare Jennings with the same numbers, with a little kind of had that dip and pop this year, but she still had 17 home runs. Like, those are big time numbers that's most teams' best power hitter. Yeah. And Tiare Jennings is the two-hole hitter on OU.
And she's always good with two strikes when it's 0-2 counts.
Great point, Brandon. Her two-strike hitting is unbelievable. And not even just you'll see a lot of two-strike hitters that are just up there trying to make contact or whatever it may be, but she can hit with power with two strikes, which I think is crazy. But to me, one of her biggest strengths, I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball, and I kind of think maybe she doesn't get maybe as much recognition because the plays she makes look easy because she has such good range. I played second baseman in baseball, a little different sport, but she makes it look so easy because she gets the balls without diving for them, either off the read off the bat or whatever it may be. She just covers a lot of ground, and it makes it look like it wasn't that difficult of a play when it really was.
Yeah, last year she had her highest fielding percentage of her career at .992. I mean, that's pretty much perfect. I think that's like one or two errors at max, maybe three. That might be pushing it at that point. It's just unreal how good the middle infield was last year.
And what I was going to say is probably the best play she has had in defense is last year's World Series Natty with Grace Lyons with that double play.
Yeah.
And wasn't there a play last year, I could be wrong, but where she was like laying down after she dove to stop the ball and flipped it with her glove up to Grace Lyons, and they turned two on that as well?
Yeah.
They took
OU Texas.
Yep,
And
someone that just has so much defensive versatility, and that also brings in the question: could we see Tiare Jennings play shortstop next year? Just to how elite of a defensive player she is.
and on that note, the more I think about it, I don't think I moved Tiare Jennings to shortstop, and here's why. One, she's been so dominant at second base. She's a natural there. I wouldn't want to move her over and have her, maybe possibly go through some struggles. I mean, the way Tiare's been, I think you leave her where she's at and let her just keep doing what Tiare's doing. One thing I will say about Tiare, I'm serious, guys. She may be the hardest hitting batter. I can't think of a bloop hit she's had. There's other ones you're like, I know some of them are bloop singles. Everything she hits on a rope. Even
Well,
her dingers, they're on a
well,
rope. She doesn't
yeah,
hit
her
bloop.
her swing when she hits home runs, they are bullets out of there. They're missiles. I mean, they're not no rainbow shot out of there. But I would probably disagree with you a little bit on the shortstop thing, Jeremy, just because I think she could step over there, be a leader there. She plays great defense. I don't think she'd struggle one bit. I think she's that talented of an athlete. I think she's got a cannon of an arm. She can cover range. Shortstop, you have to be cover a lot of range. So I don't think it would make her struggle. What I wonder is if maybe who knows, but maybe she wants a challenge like that. I mean that could be an option too. Is like, hey, I'd like to try to play shortstop. Who knows? We talked to Chris Plank about it yesterday. Chris Plank threw his ideas out there of who he kind of thought might get the chance. He mentioned Tiare's name along with Alyssa Brito, Avery Hodge, and some newcomers. So I think it's up in the air. Whoever it may be, I think Patty's got a lot of choices.
I
I mean,
like what Jeremy was saying on that though, on keeping her at second base because like elite second basemen just in baseball, softball, both sports really, there's not many that are like remembered for how elite they are with
That's
the
true.
glove.
That's
So
true.
when you have one, when Tiare Jennings is in that conversation with how elite she is at second base, you almost want to keep her there because yeah, shortstop's a harder position for her to play, and I don't think she would have any sort of struggles there. Like you said, Jason, I think she'll kind of transition very well there. But again, now you're at second base looking for someone to then fill that spot with Tiare Jennings making the move over.
Yeah, you're right, and you're basically having to basically refill two spots
Yeah.
at that point. You got two new positions players at two new spots. I see what.
And whenever you watch Tiare Jennings swing, she keeps her hips in such a tight, but it's like she keeps her hips tight, but she's able to get so much movement all the way through her swing down through her legs, which is what allows her to drive the ball at such an effective rate. And as you said, Jason, that most of her home runs aren't rainbows; they're missiles because she gets so much exit velocity whenever she swings, and that's why 80% of her contact probably goes to the outfield or over the fence because she swings at such a powerful rate.
Well, and I have no idea what her major is at OU, but if she wanted to be a coach, I think she would be outstanding coach. I just really do. I mean, I think she coached third base at some things this past off season.
Yeah,
I
the
think
senior.
it was the All Star game. Just her energy, just her knowledge of the game, and I think just her coachability, how she is on the field. I think she'd be a great coach.
yeah,
Brady.
she'd be a good leader for
Yeah,
a
Oh yeah.
good.
the whole captain thing for next year is going to be. I don't know how Gas is gonna choose the captain of that or what they're gonna do, but yeah, you said it, Jay. With one thing about Tiara, if you notice her in the on deck circle, after every swing, after every pitch that is thrown, she's focusing on right. She's doing something over there to try to focus on a detail. That's very much. I think that's just super demonstrative of how I think she is in her head and how just much attention she pays the detail. I mean, she's very detail oriented. It's something you got to have, and she's been great at it.
Yeah. And it's like whenever she steps out of the batter's box after a foul ball or after she takes a pitch, you will sometimes you'll see her only do half swings, but sometimes you'll see her do full swings. And it's all about the small details about where she's sitting for the pitch, what she's seeing from the pitcher, which allows her to elevate her game above really the whole nation. And a lot of that credit also needs to go to JT Gasso because there's no one that's a hitting coach like him in the country. He's the best of the best, and he's developed all these elite hitters over the years. And Tiare Jennings is just an example of one of them.
Hey, another thing is I think this is the third senior spotlight we've done, but a lot of these players, and TRA is another one. She doesn't miss many games, guys. I mean, I'd be interested to know how many she's missed in her career.
I think she's played in every game.
I mean, probably maybe so.
And freshman year, she started all 60. Sophomore, all 62. Last year, started 61 out of 62 in the infield. So I think she started it, was still in the game. I don't know if that's one she was scratched from the lineup or not, but I mean, that's pretty much perfect attendance at that point.
Which, if you think about what Plank said yesterday, he's spot on. This group of seniors is
going to be big time miss when they leave.
They haven't just played for a year or two. They've played, most of them, since they were freshmen. 4 or 5 years in a program. It's going to be a super season next year. We're going to highlight another senior tomorrow. But, guys, another thing before we get off here, Tiare Jennings has also, in my opinion, increased her leadership. She wasn't one of the vocal ones a couple of years ago. She seems to be getting better at that. Tiare Jennings, just a great leader, great ball player, great. Love having Tiare on the team. Can't wait for next year. Till next time, guys. Boomer.
Boomer.
Boomer.